Good morning.
Hi.
We're here again.
We're back.
We're back.
Number 10.
We are on our 10th freaking episode.
We did it. Before school got out.
So our plan from the beginning was to kind of do a 10-part series. And here we are at the end of our 10-part series. Yeah. So in this episode, we have a few different things that we want to talk about. Okay, hold up. Was there anything we wanted to talk about before we get into our topic today?
Well,
what's happening in the Mormon world.
Well, like the Under the Banner of Heaven.
Yes, we need to discuss.
So on FX, you can watch it on Hulu. With Andrew Garfield. True story.
Yeah.
And it's pretty darn entertaining.
Yeah.
Like I am shocked at what they're showing and what they're putting out there.
Yeah. So the third episode just came out last night. We both watched it.
Yes.
And it's like there's the Mormon part of me that's like, they can't show this.
Yes,
the temple
the
stuff.
Temple. They're all in their temple clothes. When she gets her initiatory, they show the woman in charge, like touching the oil anointing. In the session, during the session, they show the hand signals, the tokens, all that stuff.
Yeah, and they're wearing all those stuff.
It is it looks very good.
I would love to be a fly on a wall in some home. Well, first of all, I want to be a fly on the wall in a Mormon home where they're all watching this, where like parents and children are sitting down. I'm sure this isn't happening.
It's not happening.
But where parents and children are sitting down together watching this show, and that temple scene comes up, right? I would love that, and I also would love to be a fly on the wall in a family who's sitting down to watch this who has no Mormon context whatsoever,
right?
Who doesn't know anything about the Mormon Church, and they see that and they're like, what the fuck is happening?
Well, the actress who plays Brenda had no idea what Mormons were before she took that role. Daisy Edgar Jones.
She's great.
Isn't she fun?
I love her.
She's really good.
She's a perfect Mormon.
She's a very good Mormon.
And
so is Andrew Garfield.
I know. I thought that so many times.
Oh my gosh.
He really gets a lot of the mannerisms and his sweetness.
Yes.
Like, I don't know. He gets the Mormon thing really well.
He's good.
It's over the top, and
it is a little bit, but it is funny. The facts of it are like the patriarchy is coming through. True. I mean that especially in the 80s.
Yeah.
That's
when he
how
says he
went.
Well, I guess we can't give anything away, but he uses his priesthood.
Yes, to make a decision. This is final.
And
with his wife, him and his wife having a discussion. She feels strongly one way, he feels strongly the other way, and he says, well, I'm the priesthood holder, so. Yeah.
And the joke she made, nobody else did that. But, when people would be like, oh, my wife holds the priesthood every night, right? Like, that's like such a Mormon joke. And then she's like, be careful, or I won't hold your priesthood, or something.
So good.
So cheesy, so ridiculous, and so funny. Yeah. So dumb. Like, that was so perfect.
And I love how they're weaving some Mormon history into it. Yeah. We see flashbacks to Joseph Smith and Emma Smith, how the church started. Some of the other atrocities that the church has tried to hide and sweep under the rug. So it's been really interesting.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
I am too.
And I have a feeling that most Mormons would not watch it. And they would not appreciate it.
Right. I think it's going to be, for Mormons, it's going to be hailed as anti-Mormon.
Yeah.
They're not going to watch it. Ex-Mormons are going to get all upset about it. And then regular people who don't really know much about the Mormons are just going to think that we're crazy nuts.
We're weirdos.
Which it is. Yeah. If you take a step back, it's looking strange.
Yeah.
Especially once they get into the temple. Yeah.
I'm sure people were just like, what is happening?
Yes. Oh, and that's just the beginning.
That's just the beginning. It's so good.
So good.
So yeah, I'm really enjoying that. I'm like counting down the days till the next episode. I hate that it's once a week.
I know.
Why
can't they do that to us?
It's killing me. Because we would have watched the whole series in one night. Like, I wouldn't have gone to bed till it was done.
Yeah.
But, of course, and my daughter's like, I'm waiting until it's all out to watch any of it because I can't stand that.
I wish I could. I just can't. I don't have that kind of self-control.
Yeah. I'll just watch it again when she watches it.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Exactly. Yes, I watched the first 2 episodes twice.
Yeah, so did I.
I just really wanted to make sure I got everything.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, and then a little update, just because, like, so many people were so sweet about my little niece. She doesn't have a tumor.
Yay.
There's no tumor.
That's awesome.
Thank God, right?
Yeah.
Like, they still don't know exactly what is wrong, potentially, but she's having some issues with her eyes. And so, anyways, but they have ruled out a tumor. So that is really good. Okay, so today we kind of want, so I made this list since it's our 10th episode. And this list is the top 10 worst things about Mormonism. Or you could call it the top 10 shelf breakers.
Yes.
Or the top 10 reasons I left the church. Or the top 10 reasons the church sucks. Or the top 10 things about Mormonism that piss me off. I don't know. Pick your time.
They're all appropriate.
They're all appropriate. So some of them are a lot worse than others. But we'll start at number 10 and we're going to go down to number 1. Because I kind of have them in order of how bad they are.
And number 1's the worst, right?
Yes, number 1 is the
I'm
worst.
Ready.
Okay, so number 10 is their theology that creates a sad heaven. Where, you know, if, like, we're all going to be divided up into whatever, you know, category.
How righteous we were.
Right. And since you and I are apostates, we're definitely not going to be with, like, our parents.
Right.
And, you know, which I don't actually believe. But that's their theology, right? Sad heaven.
Yeah, sad heaven. Yeah.
Sad heaven. Number 9 is the cringy temple ceremonies that we just talked about. I mean, anybody who just saw that. The crazy thing is the highest accomplishment you can reach is to go to the temple, right?
Right.
It's like the biggest goal to go and make your covenants and take out your endowments and get sealed and all these things. And then you go there and it's the biggest disappointment ever, because it's literally nothing special or even significant. And the symbolism, they claim there's like this special symbolism, but there's nothing. Like, it's nothing. It's so dumb.
It looks so far from what your Sunday services look like. It doesn't even remotely look like the church you grew up in.
It doesn't even look like the church you grew up in.
Yeah. It's very, very secret. It's just on
handshakes, prayer circles, weird words and rituals.
Secret word, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
weird.
That's,
definitely.
That. Number 8, their cult-like behavior. They just following the bite model, controlling behavior, information, thoughts, and emotions. In almost every way.
And I always think of the chanting, the prayer circle in the temple.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
It's I mean, for
chanting.
To go back and see that for the first time, I just don't. Dude.
Oh, God, hear the words of my mouth.
Oh, yeah.
It's just so, it's bad.
Yeah.
Okay, number 7, their leadership. Almost entirely, the top leadership of the church is made up of old white men. Mm-hmm. I mean, well, it's like 90+%.
Well, I guarantee you there's no women there.
Well,
and very few people of color. Men of color, excuse me.
Yes.
Because they're not going to be women.
Yeah, there's definitely not women. Yeah. Oh my gosh, can you imagine? They all have privilege and wealth and huge egos.
Yes.
And good old Rusty is like the best of them all. He's the biggest narcissist I've ever...
He really is.
He really is.
The worst prophet as far as ego, I think.
Yeah.
He's bad. And they try, these guys are paid.
Oh,
the church pays these people. Mm-hmm. They try not to put that out. All of the bishops and
state presidents,
they are not paid.
Yeah.
But the higher up you get in the church, closer you get to the money.
Then you get paid. I know for sure that starting, that at least of course the quorum of the 12,
right.
the quorum of 15, they all get paid. But I'm pretty sure that the first quorum of the 70 also gets paid.
I'm sure.
Yeah. And I don't know about, I'm thinking maybe mission presidents, things like that. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know for sure. But it would be interesting to know some of that stuff. Because, of course, they'd never tell us that.
No.
Right. Okay, number 6. Their sexism. They try to pedestalize women to say, we're so special that we need to be in a corner.
Right.
We can't be involved in the decision-making. We can't be in leadership because we are just so high and noble and perfect that we have to be home raising the kids and making dinner. I don't know.
We're nurturers.
Yeah.
We're too sensitive for that kind of stuff.
Yeah. There is no equity. There is no equality. we're supposed to covenant to obey our husbands, which that just recently changed. But we did that when we went through the first time. It was like, obey my husband as he obeys God? What the hell? My son said something the other day. He said something about how women in the church that you're worthless unless you have a good priesthood holder that you're attached to. So if your husband leaves the church, then you're never going to get to heaven because you don't have a priesthood holder to take you there.
It's true. You have to have the man and the covenant in the temple, the keys. Yeah, it's true.
For some reason, that just like caught me off guard so bad that my son even recognized that that's a thing.
They won't let women be divorced or cancel out their sealing unless they're like, there are steps. You have to show that you are going to be sealed to someone else, or you're stuck sealed to this person you divorced so you can make it into heaven.
Yes.
Because you can't do it any other way. Yeah.
Yes. Have I told the story about my mom with that?
I don't think you have.
So my parents divorced. Yeah. After they'd been married for 30-something years.
9 kids.
Yep. They divorced. My dad got remarried. And shortly after he got remarried, of course he got remarried in the temple. Right. Shortly after that, him and his wife, saw my mom at some family gathering, and they said to her, hey, just so you know, we're perfectly fine being, in a polygamous marriage in the eternities with you.
Stay with us.
We'll my dad's new wife was like welcoming my mom. Right. Like, you're still sealed to my husband and I'm okay with it. My mom could not get out of there fast enough.
But that is how it is. That's how it's going to be. That's how it's going to be. Your mom cannot get a temple divorce from your dad who is married to another woman.
Right. So what my mom did, and I would never even ask my mom about this because it feels really terrible to to assume that this was her plan all along. Right. But she started dating a guy. Yeah. And she got engaged to him. And then she requested her temple sealing to be canceled with my dad so that she could marry this new person. And then as soon as that cancellation went through, she broke it off with the other guy. So
she did get the temple cancellation.
She got the temple cancellation.
She found the loophole.
And part of me thinks she found the loophole. That she never had any intention of marrying that person. I don't know. Yeah. Isn't that weird though? And then I think I remember her stake president warning her okay, but now you're not sealed to anybody.
She's a free agent now. She's just out there.
So now willy-nilly. How is she going to get into heaven? She won't have somebody to call her name through the veil. Yeah. So she should be very worried. Yeah, I would be very worried. Well, my mom is a faithful, believing woman, so somehow she's got that item on her shelf. Right? She has to.
Yes, for sure.
Because she totally believes that she's going to go to heaven. Yeah. I mean, there's no reason why she wouldn't, except that she has no man to call her name through. Oh, so I know, she has said, Heavenly Father will make it all right.
Yeah, which is our go-to when we don't know how it's going to work out. Yeah.
Right. I just have faith that he's going to make everything good. He's going to give me a wonderful man that will make me whole. How freaking sick is that?
It's very sad.
It's sick.
And it is what it is. That's what it is. Yeah. We cannot be complete without a man. Right. As far as the church is concerned.
It's so fucked up. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. So maybe I should have put that further up closer to number 1. But I can get really pissed off about all of this stuff. Okay. We're at number 5 now. Their racist history.
Oh, so bad.
I mean, it's so crazy because they try to pretend that they were never racist, but they also have never removed any of the racist teachings from the Book of Mormon or, from any of the past sermons. I mean, they're all out there. You can find all of the quotes, all of the things that every past prophet said that was so incredibly racist, like their belief that if they became really righteous, that their skin would get lighter. They said that in Under the Banner of Heaven last night to the
Well, and they had programs set up that white families would take in these whatever
the Native
Americans and
kids
in hopes that they
it was
could
the
fix
Indian
that.
Placement Program is what it was called. And I had an aunt who was in that.
Really?
Yep, she was taken off the reservation and separated from her family and put into a good Mormon family.
I can't imagine
so that
how
she
traumatic.
could turn white and delightsome. I know.
Yeah.
So
and that was the term,
traumatic.
white and delightsome.
Yeah.
Well, I read something that a prophet put out years and years, I mean, way back, but still talking to the young women saying, don't mix your blood.
Oh my God, yes.
Be kind, be friendly, but don't marry. And don't have children with a dark-skinned person.
Yep. Totally. Yep. That racist teaching is everywhere in the church. And I think it's so unbelievable that they can justify, not allowing, and the priesthood ban, that makes it sound like it was too simple, because it wasn't just a ban for them to not have the priesthood, but what that means is that none of them could go to the temple.
Kept them out of the temple.
Could get sealed to their family members.
They couldn't have any of the blessings of the temple.
They didn't get any of those blessings.
They were going to be allowed to be in heaven as servants. I don't know how you wrap your head around that. I don't know how you justify that.
I honestly don't know how there are any people of color in the church. I really don't.
Right.
It doesn't make sense to me. And I'm sure they're wonderful people, but I don't know how they are okay with being in a church who hated them.
Yeah,
absolutely. Who thinks that they are less than.
Yeah, try to keep them out of the celestial kingdom.
Yeah.
The very pinnacle.
You're not good enough because of your skin color.
Because of your skin color.
That makes no sense to me whatsoever. Okay. Number 4 is hiding their history. All of the attempts that have been made to completely hide and obfuscate.
The money they have spent to buy people off who have supposed documents, the Mark Hoffman thing.
Hoffman stuff. Oh yeah.
The money.
They have hidden so much of what Joseph Smith did and how he came to be what he was, and how the entire foundation of the church is built on lies.
Yeah.
Is built on a fraud.
Totally.
An absolute fraud.
A treasure seeker.
And then, over the last 20 years, 30 years maybe, since the internet came about and they knew they were fucked.
Yeah.
As soon as all this stuff could come out, they start...
Yes.
They have to start inoculating people.
Well, we get the gospel...
Topics essays, which wasn't until 2012, by the way.
That's right.
So they waited I think as long as they could possibly wait.
The apologists,
the
church apologists have come out to try to soften it.
Oh yeah, and they've tried to become more mainstream. Like they're literally turning into like a mainstream Protestant church because they've hidden all the weird, crazy theologies that were completely unique to Mormonism, and then they gaslight everyone into thinking that it was always like this.
I know. It's at its core.
Yeah.
Is the gaslighting.
Yeah. The gaslighting.
We never hid anything from you. That was always there.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? Like the pictures that have all of a sudden started disappearing from church walls.
Oh yeah.
That were there for always.
That show Joseph Smith translating from the golden plate.
Golden Plates by candlelight. No, that
was just an artist rendition. The artist was wrong.
They are brilliant with their excuses and justification.
Yeah, it's
too
insane.
Much.
Yep. Okay, we're down to number 3. Okay, so this one we kind of talked about last week is just the culture of shame, perfection, judgment, all of the things.
It keeps you busy.
And the thing that pisses me off about this is that somehow they've convinced a lot of people that it's just the culture, it's not the doctrine.
Yes.
And I've said this a million times, but the culture is not created in a vacuum. It is there because the doctrine teaches it.
100%. We didn't get it from thin air. It came from somewhere.
Right. So it's insane that they try to make it seem like, oh, we don't expect everyone to be perfect. What are you talking about? No. Perfectionism shouldn't be. Or we don't have secrecy. Or we're not judgmental. Like, people might be judgmental, but that's not because of the church. Right. That's not the church's fault. Oh, hell yeah, it is. it all comes from the doctrine of the church.
It's got to start somewhere.
Yeah, and there was a lot of time, probably maybe my last 5 years in the church at least, where I was like, the culture is bad, but the gospel is good.
The gospel is true.
Yeah, the gospel is still true.
The people aren't perfect, but the gospel is perfect.
Yeah, and I would really try to fight against the cultural norms and be progressive, I thought, but yeah, there's just there's no way to separate them. They are too inextricably connected.
Yeah.
To be stripped away. And I think, and that's what's sad, is because there really are so many good people in the church.
Yes.
And even the really good ones, they don't know some of the biases and the things that are really deeply embedded in their brains.
Because it's all they've known. You're in too deep. If that's all you've known all your life, you don't even know that's happening.
Yeah. And you still justify some judgment and some shame and some perfectionism and some of that. Even those who are really trying not to. It's hard. You have to really weed that out of your system. Oh, yeah. Like, we've had to do a lot of that.
Yes.
Like, there's so many times where I find myself saying something and I'm like, that's my Mormonism coming back.
It's easy to snap back.
It totally is.
Because it's all we knew for 40 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Super weird. Okay. Number 2, and so these last 2, it was really hard for me to decide which one made me more mad.
Okay.
And so they're very close. They're close to 2 and 1. Number 2 is their LGBTQ stance. I just can't.
Yep.
I can't with any of it, because they say in one breath, they say how much they love, their LGBTQ brothers and sisters, and how we welcome them with open arms, right? And then then in the next breath, they're slamming the door in their faces as they try to walk in the door.
Right. We love you, but only this much.
But only this much.
You need to fix yourself, and then you can love you the rest of the way.
Yeah, you can't do all the things that everyone else can do.
You don't fit the cookie cutter mold, so you're out.
And I think it's partly that confusing message of both talking out of both sides of their mouth.
It is very confusing.
It makes it so much worse.
Yes.
If they always just said one thing, it would be different.
Yeah.
But they go back and forth. It's like they give them a little bit of hope and then they pull it back.
It's kind of like emotional trauma.
It is absolutely abusive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's abusive. And every time Elder Oaks gets up and gives a talk, I feel personally attacked.
He is the worst.
He's the worst.
And you can count on him.
You can count on it every time.
Every time.
Same shit, different day.
Every conference. Yep.
Yeah. So it's just, it's maddening to me when they try to talk like that being a part of the gospel is a refuge from the hardships of the world, or that, that they love everyone and that Jesus loves everyone.
It's Jesus Christ Church. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But only for certain.
But only for certain.
But you.
Yeah.
Jesus was very exclusionary.
Yeah.
He was very picky about who he let in.
Right.
That's what gets me. I'm like, how do they justify How do you pick and choose?
Yeah. But they say they don't. That's the whole thing. It's like, no, but we love everyone.
Yeah.
But gay people can't come to heaven.
We love you, but
you can't go to the temple.
Right.
You can't. So therefore you are not in our heaven.
And the message is there's something wrong with you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, what? How else is there?
Yeah, when they tell you that it's just a trial in this lifetime, and after this life so everyone's gonna be white and straight.
Yes.
After this life,
so
right?
Fun. That looks so fun, right? It's so exciting. What a boring place to be.
What a boring place to be. I'm sorry. I want to go to gay heaven. I'm going to gay heaven.
Yeah, let's go to gay heaven.
Yeah, because that's gonna be way more fun. Definitely more fun. Okay,
now I'm ready for number
top
1.
10.
Let's hear it.
Do you know what it's going to be?
No, I don't think I do.
Your number 1. I mean, you'll know as soon as I say it, you'll be like, oh yeah. Because I get so riled up about this.
There's so many things you get riled up about.
It's the money.
Oh, the money. Yes, yes, yes.
The billions and billions of dollars they are hoarding. I want to give you a couple of stats. I can't not. They have approximately $150 billion in their stock portfolio. Okay, that is only their stock portfolio. Okay, let's talk about that. They own 1.7 million acres of land in the United States alone. That does not include anywhere else in the whole world, right? Okay. They are the 5th largest landowner in the U.S.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yep. Their land is valued at over $16 billion in just the United States. We're talking about just the United States, okay?
Wow.
They so proudly proclaim, I mean, I looked on all their websites and tried to look up their humanitarian aid and all that kind of stuff. They proudly proclaim that they have donated $2.5 billion to humanitarian aid since 1985.
Oh, so break it down.
Woo! That's 35 years, okay?
Yeah.
That's only $71 million per year. That's how much they have donated. They bring in $7 billion per year.
So what's the percentage? Like, that is a tiny fraction of what they bring in.
It is the tiniest.
But they really pile it on thick, that they are all about serving and helping.
Yeah.
And
oh, yeah.
But really,
when we were in the church, we thought the church was so charitable.
Like the first ones to be at any disaster, providing relief, supplies. But that's not really the case.
No.
That's not really how it is.
No. And their biggest donation is man hours. Is the people
The free.
doing their free labor.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so I read that they spend about $6 billion a year on church expenses, like building temples, churches, maintenance, all the budgets, and their humanitarian aid, right?
Oh, it's included.
So that includes, and they're trying, I think that they've made a goal to donate $1 billion a year, which, I mean, that is a huge increase because, like I said, since 1985, they've only donated $2.5 billion.
Right.
So they are trying to ramp it up, and I think it's because they have to, because now everyone knows how rich they are.
They've been, they've been caught.
They've been hoarding money.
Ticks people off. Because why does a church need a stock portfolio? Why does it? I don't understand why they need to invest in Apple.
Yep.
I don't understand.
Or Amazon or all of the Tesla.
Things. Well, even City Creek downtown.
Yeah, the malls.
The malls.
And the apartment complexes.
Yes, all of it.
And the resort in Maui.
Oh, I didn't know that. There's a resort in Maui?
Oh, yeah. They just bought, in the last 2 years.
That's right.
They bought $160 million Marriott Resort in Maui.
That's right. I remember that coming up. Why?
Why do they need that?
Why does Jesus need that? Does Jesus need... Maybe he does.
Maybe he needs a vacation.
He definitely needs the malls.
Yeah. Yeah, he needs to shop.
He needs a vacation.
He needs a vacation. He needs to shop. The humanitarian aid and all of the expenses of the church cost them about $6 billion a year, but they bring in $7 billion. Can you understand how much they have an extra $1 billion
the rainy day fund.
A year that goes to their rainy day fund?
I know. Can you imagine what you could do for the poor, the marginalized, single moms, just the facilities and the services that we could offer if we didn't build a stinking temple?
They could single-handedly end world hunger. They could end it.
It's true. Like, that's not even exaggeration.
No, it's not. Because they legitimately could. They could solve the water crisis. They could make it so that every single person on this planet has access to clean water. That's the kind of stuff you can do with $150 billion. I do not know how they can possibly justify it. I just don't. There's no justification for it.
Somehow they do.
Clearly, this is not what Jesus would do.
Right. But, when I was in the church, one of my friends said, "What do you think about this rainy day fund?" And I said, "I think it's great. Good for the church. They're putting, that was the justification.
That they're smart with their money.
They are being smart with their money. Yes, they're being smart with it. I'm sure that there's a plan for that. I don't need to know what it is. That was my justification for it.
See, and I remember being taught that and learning that and agreeing with that as well before I heard how big it was.
Right, but once you actually know the numbers, it gets a little bit harder.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have looked at tax records, and in the state of Utah, they own thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands. I mean, they probably own upwards of 100,000 different pieces of property.
Well, I believe it because there's a church and a temple on every corner.
Yes, yes. And they own a lot of just vacant land.
Lot. Well, just for, hold on to it.
They own thousands of acres.
That's crazy.
Thousands. It's mind-boggling to look, like, to pull up in the tax records. Oh, and here's the other thing. They list it under lots of different names.
Right.
So you've got the Corporation of the Presiding Bishopric. You've got the LDS Church. They even have some pieces of property that are listed under ward names.
Really?
Yes.
I wonder why.
Don't know. Probably because they were donated to them by somebody in a ward.
In that ward, yeah.
Yeah. So they have, and this estimate of 16 billion in the United States, that was an estimate like 2 years ago. Yeah. So even just in the state of Utah, where values have gone up 40% in the last 2 years. Yeah.
That number's changed.
That number has changed. So they are earning, during the pandemic, they made like $40 billion on their stock portfolio.
Yeah, just sitting there.
Yeah. So that's another thing that pisses me off is that in the pandemic, all they did was have a lousy fast.
Yeah.
Why?
Well,
they could have done so much.
Remember when the prophet said before the pandemic started, he's like, something exciting is going to be, or not something, it was exciting, something big is coming.
Something big. And he said that conference was going to be different than any other you've ever seen. Yeah.
And then the pandemic happens, but then what was it? They had youth speak in general or something. It was something like dumb.
I didn't even know that. Yeah, I don't remember that.
It was something so dumb.
Well, it was an empty conference room. Right. Nobody was there because it was a pandemic.
But that wasn't what they were. They weren't saying get your food storage in order.
Oh yeah,
all this.
He said take your vitamins.
Yeah, take your vitamins.
He did say that.
Oh, that's hilarious. Thank you, prophet.
What the hell good is a prophet? If he can't actually warn us of something like that happening. Like, for reals.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but yeah, I can just go off on the money stuff because I can't.
It's bad.
It is embarrassing. They should be ashamed of themselves because there's just no justification for it.
Not for that much money?
No, not for that much money. It's great to be smart with your money and to not be in debt.
But there is
no effing reason why they need that much money or property or any of it.
Yeah.
And now, these church buildings are just sitting vacant. Why not turn them into homeless shelters? Why can't they help people?
So much you could do.
They could actually help people, but no, they don't.
No.
They don't actually help people. They don't care.
No.
They want it to appear as if they are helping.
Right.
And as if they are doing humanitarian and all this stuff. But the majority of the help that is, and the service and the charity that is happening in the church is the people.
Yes.
Giving, serving, doing.
For free.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, because even in that estimate of how much money they give, that includes their estimate of value on man hours. It does.
I mean, the fact we have to clean our own church buildings.
Oh, yeah.
They have volunteers for the temple. They have volunteers for the millwork.
Yeah.
Lots of free labor.
Yes. Oh, tons of free labor.
My parents had a mission to the storage warehouse.
Oh, yeah.
Years they spent.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is really that kind of breaks down for you all the reasons in kind of a nutshell.
I'm just picturing Jesus.
Like
Snoop Dogg with the chains around his neck and the sunglasses and the gold teeth.
Yeah.
And I don't know, the robes for all this money, right? It's so gangster to have that much money. That's what Jesus is going for.
Yeah, so I guess so.
That's what I picture in my head.
Jesus' true church,
yes,
right?
The only one.
I mean, that just is, for all of those reasons, the church can't be true. It just can't.
No.
It can't. It doesn't hold any water.
I mean, the one and true only church.
Totally built on a fraud.
Yeah.
The whole
thing
it just doesn't make any sense. So for me, you might have different things. For me, that's a pretty...
I did thank you notes to the Mormon church. Yes. And some of mine are very similar to what yours were.
Oh, I love it.
So this is inspired by Jimmy Fallon's thank you notes. So here's one. Dear Mormon Church, thank you for forbidding coffee and tea so I could drink soda full of caffeine, sugar, and chemicals. Like, there's no ban on Monster drinks or Red Bulls. Like, you go for it. But coffee.
But coffee is where they draw the line.
You can't get into the temple if you drink coffee. Or tea.
Tea.
You can't get into the temple if you drink coffee, which means that you cannot get into heaven.
Yep.
Dear Mormon Church, thank you for banning fun, including rated R movies, tattoos, swearing, loud laughter, premarital sex, and being near water on Sunday. I guess it's maybe in water.
In water.
That's how I grew up. We did not do water activities on Sunday. Yeah,
and you need to stay far away because if you're even near it, you'll be too tempted to touch it.
Well, there was Satan has control over the water on Sunday or something.
Yeah, the devil controls the water on Sunday. Yeah.
Never got that one, but we obeyed that one.
Yeah, but we missed out on all the fun.
Yes.
Premarital sex is number one.
Well, I didn't miss out on that one, but I'm telling you.
I know I missed out on that.
You missed out on that one.
That would have been really fun. That's one of my regrets. Come on.
I know, for reals.
Yeah.
Okay, dear Mormon Church, thank you for controlling every aspect of how I dressed, right down to my underwear. I mean, the summers in Utah.
Oh my God, right. It's the worst.
It is the worst. Dear Mormon Church, thank you for conditioning me to never say no to a calling and sacrifice myself in the name of God. Ugh. I'm still resentful.
And not only is it not saying no, it's learning to not say no to anything.
Yes.
And to just accept bad treatment, to just always give up your own self for someone else.
It's
always.
True. Yeah. Service, lose yourself in service. I mean, there's so many ways.
There are no proper boundaries or healthy ways that we learn to stand up for ourselves, to respect ourselves. None of that.
None of it.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my next one. Where did it go? Thank you. Oh, dear Mormon Church, thank you for the story of Nephi, who was a perfect example of obedience, especially that time he murdered Laban, passed out in the street, because murder is okay if God says so.
We know that because we're watching Under the Banner of Heaven.
Right?
Yeah.
God told him.
God told him to do it.
God told him to do it. Dear Mormon Church, thank you for giving me an opportunity to buy my exaltation for the bargain price of 10% of all my income. Because you can't get into...
For the rest of your life.
For the rest of your life. You can't get into the temple if you don't pay a full tithe. Mm-hmm. And so, therefore, you can't get into...
You can't get into heaven if you haven't been in the temple. So, yeah.
Dear Mormon Church, thank you for letting women be a part of the church as long as we stay in our place and don't make any decisions without the priesthood approval. Enough said, right?
For allowing us to be there. That's so kind of them.
Well, and it's like you've said. They give us an inch, and then we want a mile.
Now we're going to take a mile. Yeah, and we should be so grateful that we get to be witnesses at baptisms now.
That is a big thing. Along with any child 12 or up.
Yes, that's true. And we get to say prayers in general conference.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, they are really giving us a lot.
Yeah. More than we deserve.
We're so lucky. We're so blessed.
Okay, my next one. Dear Mormon Church, thank you for giving me the opportunity to waste countless hours in the temple doing work for dead people and believing I couldn't get to heaven without the right handshake and token. If you know, you know. Dear Mormon Church, thank you for showing me I can receive revelation in a hat full of rocks. Now, that's new.
Yeah.
But if you look up on YouTube, you can see Rusty demonstrating how you look in the hat.
Yep.
Dear Mormon Church, thank you for the Book of Mormon that taught me dark skin means you were cursed, punished, and less than white people. That's what I grew up thinking.
Yep.
Like you did something wrong.
Yep.
Dear Mormon Church, thank you for teaching me families can only look one way or you're doing it wrong.
Oh, yes.
And my last thank you note. Dear Mormon Church, thank you for a great conversation starter because now I can say I left a cult.
Woohoo!
That's always fun.
Yes.
So those were my thank you notes to the Mormon Church.
To the Mormon Church. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it be really fun to actually send a few of those thank you notes directly to the prophet? Thank you. Thank you so much for all of the trauma.
Yeah, I'd like to send a note and ask for a refund on my tithing money. Right? That's what I'd really like.
I know. I kind of cheered when I saw that Huntsman guy was suing the church for his tithing. I mean, he's never going to see a dime.
It, but it's kind of...
It's just... And I'm pretty sure he knows he's never going to get it. Yeah. But it's just the principle of the thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I just love that he's doing it.
I do too. Yeah, and he's got the money to do it.
The church has screwed everybody. It's all a giant fraud.
Yeah.
So... I think that has made it so that we could have this podcast and have all these great conversations.
True, right?
Yeah. Because we've been able
I agree.
to do this. And you had one other thing, right?
I have a here's what I know for sure.
Okay. Do you want to share that now, or I'm trying to decide? I was just going to talk about like the podcast itself.
I'll share and then you can
first.
Just
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The here's what I know for sure is that I don't know anything for sure.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, so that was quick.
No.
Just kidding. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah.
The things I have learned in my faith crisis that I know for sure that this is the one and only life that is guaranteed.
Yes.
So many people are living for this next life.
For the next life.
Right? There's no time limit on working through your feelings when leaving the church. I thought I had to speed through it when I first started. Like,
me too.
Better hurry and get through this. No, there's no time limit. Take your time.
And I also thought I had to do it a certain way.
Yes.
I had like this manual of I'm going to do it right.
Because that's all we know how to do.
Because there's a right and wrong way for everything, right?
Yep. Exactly.
And my therapist was like, there's not one right way to do it. Yeah. And just the fact that you're saying I'm going to do it right is showing your Mormon brain.
Yeah.
Like that's coming out.
So true. Yeah. I don't owe anyone an explanation for the choices I make. If I say yes or no, or I decline, I don't have to justify it or make excuses. That was hard for me.
Yep.
I can trust myself, and I've always had the power that patriarchy tried to take away from me. The priesthood power, Holy Ghost, atonement was me all along, but they tried to make me not trust myself, and now I take it back.
Yes.
And then the last thing I put, I had we need each other, question everything, and Eve was a rock star. Those are the things I know for sure. So that's kind of things I've come through
I
the last 2 years.
love that so much. Like, I have chills because every single one of those things I feel deep in my bones of like, yes, thank God that we can have confidence in our own decisions, and we do not have to explain any of our choices to anyone else.
Those are hard, especially for women. You don't have to give excuses and justify. When you say no, that's enough. If someone asks you to do something and you say no, I'm not going to do it, that's it. That's enough. That's the answer.
Yeah, you don't have to explain
But
yourself.
I always thought, you say yes, 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 or you better have a good explanation.
You better have a good reason for why you're not going to do that. Oh my gosh, right? Oh, I love it. I love your list. I think every single one of those, I can't think of anything else I would add of the what I know for sure. Because, this is it. This is all we know for sure.
You don't there's no guarantee.
Yeah.
You can't prove to me there's something after this.
Yeah, somebody was saying to me the other day that they're in order of importance, the things that were important to them was God was number one, and then family, and then I think they said some other things, but I just thought, that's so weird that you put this like mystical being that you don't even know exists ahead of your family.
It's like putting unicorns first. Yeah. We don't know. But your family is right here, right now.
Yeah.
In front of you. Like,
yeah.
Real.
I wanted to like ask him, like, what if you thought that God asked you to leave your family? Would you?
Or kill them.
Or kill them. Like, this has actually happened in the church. We're currently seeing Lori Daybell on trial.
Yes.
And you know that her and Chad, they believe that her kids were needed to die.
They were saving those kids.
Yes.
That's what their belief was.
Yes.
Yeah. It's terrible.
There's just too many examples of it. You can't deny that there's a connection.
Yes. It starts somewhere, people. Where do you think it starts?
Yeah. Yeah. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad. So I have loved doing this series, and just for everybody who has listened to our podcast and commented and supported and loved us through this, it has been a really fun adventure. It has been really healing.
It's therapeutic.
Yes, very therapeutic. It's just been awesome. So we still have some decisions to make about how the podcast will look going forward. It will be different because with this 10-part series, this is what we agreed to do, and now we're going to figure it out after this. I don't know. We're not going to be gone forever, and we just don't know how it will look moving forward, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Is that all I should say? I don't know. I may plan on, having other guests on, maybe?
Yeah, don't be worried if I'm not around.
Yeah.
If we shake things up.
We're going to shake things up.
Yeah, just do some different things. Try some different things.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have some ideas, but I don't really know how it's going to go. So, but it'll be fun. But thank you so much for all your support and your love and for listening and, share our podcast with anybody that you think it could help. It's just been really fun to do this.
It has been. Yeah. It's fun just to get together and walk through these things.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
We'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.